repurpose textbooks, towels, whatever you've got, bring them along, and let's get started. Today we'll start class in a supported supine Baddha Konasana. If you've got your 2 blocks, I'll show you how to use them. If you don't have your blocks with you, no problem at all. You can certainly just do this shape lying on your back. 1 block will land right along the bra line, right at the edge of the shoulder blades on the middle height, widest setting. You can set it up on your mat like that. 1 block will be on its highest height, narrow setting to catch your head. So set your blocks up approximately where you think they'll land. Bring the soles of your feet together to touch. And note that the heels should not be too far in or too far out from the perineum, just that perfect distance, kind of like a Goldilocks situation. Use your forearms to lower down onto the block. Again, it lands just along the bra line, right at the edge of the shoulder blades, really supporting the lungs from the back, and catch the block right at your head. And once you've got it, adjust the block so that way the shape feels really good and supported. You can let the hands land anywhere. I like to land the hands right along the low rib cage, making contact with the belly. And as it's comfortable for you, the eyelids might settle closed. And if the eyes are desiring to stay open today, see how you can soften the focus of your gaze. If your chin's poking way up high, just draw it down, so that way you lengthen the back of your neck. And with the hands on your belly, notice the breath pulsing, the belly swelling and contracting. And as you breathe for today, imagine that you could plant a tiny seed at all of the joint spaces along the leg, so at the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Plant a tiny seed at the base of the abdomen, just below the navel center. Another seed where the diaphragm lives. Another seed at the nook of the collarbones. One more seed in the center of your brain. One more seed at the crown of the head. And as you breathe, you can imagine that with each breath, the seed begins to sprout. And eventually, you see a few teeny tiny leaves. A stem unfurls. The leaves get bigger. Maybe you imagine a flower blossoming. So as you inhale, the seeds of your plant or your flower get nourished. And as you exhale, you get to enjoy watching the plant bloom. Stay with the breath a moment more. And gently use one hand to support your head, one hand to remove the block from underneath you. You can use the forearm to begin to pick your chest up. Keep your blocks off to the side. We'll move now to a seated Virasana, a hero's pose like we did last time. Take whatever block variation you did, so I'll take the block on its middle height, right between the inner ankle bones. Knees together, inner ankle bones meeting the block. Palms can rest face up on the thighs. Maybe you allow the eyes to close here and come back to the seeds planted, plants unfurling. So know that wherever there is space, the plant will fill that space. And at the same time, it might create space of its own. So you might imagine a sense of spaciousness through each of the joints, through the torso, in the mind, and on top of the crown of your head. Just take a breath in through your nose. Sigh it out of your mouth. Breathe in again. Out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Out the mouth. Seal the lips. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. This time hold it full. Breathe in again for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay empty. 4, 3, 2, 1. This time as you breathe in, imagine the breath traveling up the length of the torso, coming all the way up over the crown of your head. You hold it full at the very top. As you exhale, imagine the breath just descending, tracing the entire back line of your body, and stay empty at the bottom as the breath wraps underneath you. Breathe in and imagine spring is rising. Sprouts are sprouting, flowers are blossoming. Hold it full over the crown of your head and feel the warm glow of the summer sun on your skin. Exhale, autumn's leaves like memories descend down your back. Stay empty for winter. Have a moment of insight as you go inside. Breathe in, spring rises, flowers blossom, ideas germinate. Hold it full. The fruits of summer ripen as you feel the glow of the summer sun. Exhale. Breathe in, spring rises, flowers blossom, ideas germinate. Hold it full over the crown of your head. The fruits of summer ripen and you feel the warm glow of the summer sun. Exhale, autumn's leaves like memories just descend down your back. Stay empty for winter. Let the snow seep into the soil and let the breath practice go. The natural cadence of your breath returns. Gently allow the eyes to flicker open. We'll take a few rounds of Kapalabhati together. This is a skull shining breath, a forceful pumping exhale out through the nose. The navel snaps in as you go, and the inhales essentially happen on their own. Kind of sounds like you're sniffing out a candle just using your nose like this. You can try it with me now. So when you're ready, reach your arms up alongside your ears, straighten your elbows, flex your wrist creases, and widen your arms out a bit so that way they make the shape of a V, like an equilateral triangle. So now you've got your very own personal V, your V for virtue, for volume, and for victory. Keep yourself at the center of your own victory always, and just take a natural breath in. Natural breath out. Breathe in to prepare, and begin to pump the breath out. Keep pumping the breath. Keep straightening the elbows, flexing at the wrist creases, and making cups with your hands. The breath pumps out, 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 and the navel smacks in and up and in and up and in and up and in and up, and the breath is buoyant and bouncy, and you just keep pumping away and pumping away. Out, 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 out. Ten, 9, 8, 7. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hook your thumbs overhead. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Take another sip of air in through your mouth like you've got a straw. One more sip in. One more. Hold and be full. Squeeze and contract all your internal organs. Imagine that you were like an etheric tube of toothpaste. And then exhale, pop the cork. Let your champagne bubbles flow all around you. Hands come back on the thighs to rest face up. And just take a moment here. Without any extra fuss, just move your props out of the way and we'll meet in hands and knees. Find a table. Fingertips can either face toward the front edge of the mat. And just to check your measure, turn your hands in toward one another and see that your middle fingers meet. And this will give you the measure of shoulder width distance. Keep the heels of the hands right where they are. Spin the fingers back to face the front edge of the mat, or like we did last time, you can flip the wrists all the way around so that way the creases shine forward, middle fingers point back toward your knees, tops of the feet press into the mat really well. And a few times begin to arc and round your spine, moving with your breath. I invite you to close your eyes here and just move in a way that feels good. So you might begin to spin your hips around in circles, getting your head and neck involved. You could imagine that your hip bones are like a spatula scraping pancake batter around a bowl. And if you're taking a more circular movement, take your circles the other way. And just notice if your tendency is to move kind of quickly or if your tendency is to move more slowly. Notice if your tendency is to move clockwise first or counterclockwise. You more go with the flow, or you like the reverse commute person. It's just interesting to see how we do it. Okay, fingers come back to face the front of the mat. So once your hands are back facing the front of the mat, keep the hands and feet where they are. Just tuck your toes and find downward facing dog. So you'll notice from here your hands and feet are a little bit closer than they normally would be for your down dog. Keep them here. Just take your feet out as wide as the mat. Tent up onto your fingertips so you're in the short, wide dog. And for today, straighten your legs a lot. Drive your heels all the way down into the mat. Maybe you lift your toes up. And keep looking out beyond your fingertips. Straighten your legs like crazy and send your buttock bones way, way high and up. Catch your breath here. And keep straightening the backs of the legs, driving the heels down, high up on the fingertips. And then place your palms back down, feet back hip width distance. Take your downward facing dog the way that you do. Pedal out your feet. Wag your tail from left to right. Take your dog for a walk. Any movements that you'd like to get out. And then organize your dog same way that we do. Left hand meets left ankle. Right hand meets right ankle. Feet are too far, walk them in. Feet are too close, walk them out. Check it by coming forward to a plank pose. Shoulders stack over wrists. Gaze slightly forward and ahead of you. And then hips high and up, downward facing. Breathe in, lift your right leg. And as you breathe out, step your right foot all the way forward and through between your hands. Right heel lands underneath the right knee. Tap the back toes down, tap the back knee down, when you get there. And then chest rests on the thigh, knee fits the armpit. Reach your arms straight forward. This time hook your thumbs and reach forward through all of your fingers so far forward that you unfurl Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge. Keep your ears in line with your biceps. And just have the experience of the breath in the body. Stay for one more breath in. As you breathe out, the hands come back down to frame the front foot. Tuck your back toes, pick up your back knee, and look forward. As you exhale, begin to straighten both legs any amount toward a pyramid pose. Really nice option to have the hands on blocks here. You can kind of bring the floor to you. You could also be on fingertips if you don't have blocks handy. I like to keep the back heel lifted, and at any point you can let your head be heavy and bring your nose toward your knee. Put more weight in the big toe side of the right foot and send your outer right hip back in space, your left hip toward the left. From here, rebend your right knee, lunge and look forward. Left foot steps to the top of the mat, forward fold. Check 2 fist distance right between the arches of the feet. Hands on the shins, lift halfway up and look out. And as you exhale, fold down. Breathe in to rise up and reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, hands find the center. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold down. Breathe in, step your right foot back. As you breathe out, left foot finds a dog pose. Inhale to come forward to plank and touch your knees down, point your toes, just link yourself all the way down onto the belly. If you've got some props, move them out of the way. Feet will stay about hip width distance for today. Point your toes, press into the tops of the feet. And for today, slide your hands out wide so that way you can tent up onto the fingertips and you've got little spider arms. The elbows will point straight up in the air. Let your head be heavy. And then one bone at a time from the mid-back, keeping your head down and your gaze down. From the mid-back, begin to lift the chest up. And then the chin lifts, the gaze lifts. You look out when you arrive, and as you exhale, lengthen, the low ribs touch down, the chest touches down, the chin and the gaze. So on your breath, as you breathe in, undulate. Look out at the top of the inhale. Exhale to lengthen and lower down. 3 more on your breath. The inhale lifts you up. The exhale, you lengthen and lower. Keep energizing through the legs and pressing through the feet. When you finish, place your hands by your rib cage. Breathe in, baby cobra, and look out. As you breathe out, child's pose, just passing through. Downward facing dog is where we meet. From your down dog, breathe in, come forward to a plank pose. Exhale, back to dog. Forward to plank on the breath in. Back to dog on the breath out. Forward again, and back. Breathe in, lift your right leg high, and as you exhale, bend your right knee, hang your heel toward your bum. Stack the knee open and re-square the shoulders. Breathe in, extend the right leg long. Lunge the right foot forward all the way to the center of the hands. The heel lands underneath the knee. Tap the left knee down. Point the left toes. Chest stays resting on the thigh. Knee fits the armpit. And just like we did before, reach your arms straight forward. Hook your thumbs this time and reach the thumbs and the fingers so far forward that you unfurl up into an Anjaneyasana, a crescent lunge. The top of the back foot really supporting you. Ears stay in line with your biceps, and you take your gaze up as well. Stay for one more breath in. As you exhale, release the hands down, frame the front foot. Inhale to tuck your back toes and look forward. As you exhale, straighten both legs any amount. Really nice option here to have your hands on the blocks and bring the floor up to you. You can also be on fingertips if you don't have the blocks handy, or palms down. And in your pyramid pose, put more weight on the big toe side of the right foot. Send the right hip crease further back in space, and send your left butt to its own side. At any point, you can let your head and neck go. Breathe in, rebend your right knee and look forward. As you exhale, left foot steps to meet the right one. 2 fists together between the arches of your feet like we've been doing. Hands on the shins, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold down. Breathe in, rise up and reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, hands to the middle. Breathe in, reach your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana as you inhale. Exhale, fold down over your legs. Breathe in, step the right foot back on the mat. Exhale, the left foot steps back downward facing. Inhale, forward to a plank pose. Touch your knees down. point your toes, bend your elbows, and just slink your whole torso down onto the mat. You can adjust if you're really far forward like I am. And for today, feet can stay about hip width distance. Press the tops of the feet into the mat so the legs are really energized, and slide your fingertips out wide outside of your mat so your fingertips are down, and you could like place a cupcake or something underneath the palm. Elbows point straight up so you've got like little spider arms, and then keeping your head very heavy. From the mid back, begin to round up one bone at a time. So you undulate through each vertebra of the spine. Look out when you arrive. And as you exhale, lead with the chest and chin, lengthen and lower down. Breathe in, one bone at a time, undulate through the spine. Look out when you get there. And then lengthen low ribs, chest, chin, and gaze lower down. 3 more like that on your own breath. The inhale lifts you up. As you exhale, lengthen and lower. And keep pressing into the tops of the feet the whole time. Once you finish, place your hands alongside your rib cage again. Breathe in, baby cobra. And as you breathe out, pass through a child's pose. We'll meet back in downward facing dog to take the other side. In your down dog, breathe in, lift your left leg, and bend your left knee, hang your heel toward your bum, re-square the shoulders. Inhale, extend left leg long. Look at the space between your hands. Lunge your left foot forward all the way between your hands. Heel lands underneath the knee. Tap the right knee down, point the right toes. Chest rests on the thigh, the knee fits the armpit. Reach the arm straight forward. Opposite hook of the thumbs this time, and reach the fingertips so far forward that you unfurl all the way up into an Anjaneyasana, a crescent lunge, ears in line with the biceps, chin and gaze lifted. Imagine your back foot is like your anchor, front knee is like your rudder, and you are the sail, catching that beautiful wind, that beautiful breath. One more breath in. As you breathe out, release the hands, frame the front foot. Tuck your back toes and look forward. As you exhale, straighten both legs any amount. Pyramid pose. Take your hands on the blocks if you did on the other side. Release your head. Imagine that you could send the left hip further back in space, right butt to its own side, and put more weight in the left big toe. Then breathe in, bend your left knee, look forward. As you exhale, the right foot meets the left one for a fold. As you exhale, the right foot meets the left one for a fold. Hands on the shins as you lift up halfway and exhale to fold down. Breathe in, Urdhva Hastasana, rise up, reach up and look up. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose, hands at the center. Breathe in, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, fold down over your legs. Inhale, step the left foot back. Exhale the right foot back to a dog pose. Forward to plank on the breath in. Back to dog on the breath out. One more, forward again. And back. This time, imagine that you are like taking steps on the street. So heel toe, begin to walk your feet all the way forward to meet your hands. Once you arrive, 2 fists between the arches of the feet, just like we do. And for today, I'm going to hold on to opposite elbow, the point of the elbow really in the palm of the hand. The knees are slightly bent so the chest can find the thighs and you have all the contact of the upper body and the lower body. And just notice if you're playing the weight really far forward into the balls of the feet, really far back into the heels of the feet, and see how you can mediate to find the middle of the foot. You might imagine the inhale rising up the backs of the legs, the exhale cascading down your spine. Breath rises up the backs of the legs, cascades down your spine. One more up the back. Exhale, it cascades down the spine. Release the arms. And bone by bone, begin to round up to stand, going super slowly. Shoulder blades up by the ears when you get there. Just float down the back as the palms face forward and you float the skull atop the spine. Take a moment in stillness. If you're feeling warm like I am, great opportunity to delayer. From your Tadasana mountain pose, notice again, just like we did in the fold, if your weight is into the balls of the feet or into the heels of the feet, find the center. And if you lost the measure of the feet, another cool trick you can do is bring the big toe of the right foot to the left heel, and then take the big toe of the left foot to the right heel. And that'll give you the outer hips width distance. So slightly larger than we did before, but still a hips width nonetheless. So from here, breathe in and reach your arms up. Catch hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Tug the left wrist higher on the breath in. And as you breathe out, take a side bend over to the right. Put a lot of weight through the left heel. Turn your chin up so it fits the nook of your armpit. And imagine that you could spin the right lung up toward the ceiling. The next time you breathe in, come through the center, switch sides, left hand finds right wrist, tug up on the right side, exhale, side bend over to the left. Chin fits the armpit as you take your gaze up, and imagine that you could spin the left lung up toward the ceiling, lots of weight through the right side, through the right leg, and expand into the whole right side body as you breathe. Breathe in and come up to stand. Breathe out, just release the hands down by your side. From here, you choose if you want the feet hip width or together. Inhale, draw the right knee up into the chest, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, cross the right ankle over the left knee, figure 4. Bend your left knee really well and sit the hips deeply. You can use the thumbs at the center of the chest to remind yourself to keep threading the chest forward and spreading the collarbones wide. From here, keep the bend of the left knee, stay this low, and begin to just unravel the right leg back through a warrior 3. Keep the left knee bent, the right leg extends straight back behind you with the toes pointing downward. The right leg is super energized, and you're one long line from the crown of the head all the way to the right heel. Bend your left knee and take the hands down on the mat, low lunge. Reach the right foot way far back behind you. From here, breathe in, sweep the arms up, high lunge. And as you exhale, peel it open, warrior 2. Settle the legs and find a strong stance through the legs and a soft gaze through the eyes. Bend the left knee really well, stitch the outer edge of the back foot down. Keep the bend of the left knee, reverse warrior, tip it up and back. And as you exhale, find an extended side angle so the forearm can land on the thigh. You can take the right arm over your ear. Option to place the left hand down inside the left foot. Maybe you grab a block and place the left hand on a block. Lots of options here. You can swim the right arm over your ear. Keep spinning the bottom lung up. And then if you had any props, stitch them off to the side. Both hands frame the front foot and you lift the back heel up. Place your palms down well. Send the left leg high and up to a 3-leg dog. Come forward to a 3 or 4-leg plank pose. Maybe you lower halfway. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. From your down dog, either step or float the feet forward to the top of the mat. Lift halfway and fold down. Breathe in, you can come through a chair pose, hands at the center. We'll take the other side. Breathe in, left knee up into the chest, sweep the arms up. Exhale, figure 4, cross the left ankle over the right knee, or the right thigh, Bend the right knee well, sit your hips back, flex the left toes. Use the thumbs at the chest as a reminder to keep threading the chest forward, collarbones are broad. And stay this low, begin to unravel the left leg through a warrior 3. One long line from the crown of the head all the way to the heel of the left foot. So the left leg is super energized. From here, step the left foot way back on the mat, fingertips touch down, low lunge. Breathe in, reach your arms up, high lunge. And as you exhale, warrior two, land, adjust your stance as you might need. Bend the right knee really well. Find the structure, support, and stability of the legs as you find softness through the gaze. And use the outer edge of the back foot as your anchor. Flip the right palm up. Reverse warrior, tip it up and back as you breathe in. As you exhale, extended side angle. The forearm can come onto the thigh. You could have your right hand on a block, maybe the middle or the lowest setting. You could also have your hand on the ground. Use the right knee to press the shoulder to spin the chest open. Maybe reach the left arm up toward the ceiling. Left butt to its own side. Swim the left arm forward and down. Both hands frame the front foot. As you pop the back heel up, hands all the way down on the mat, palms flat. Inhale, 3-leg dog. Forward to a 3 or 4-leg plank pose. Lower halfway optionally. Tops of the feet touch down for an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing. Take a breath in and a breath out. Touch your knees down and take a child's pose. Use the breath to find expansiveness. Like you could plant a seed and expand into all of the spaces. If your arms are extended in your child's pose, just bring them back toward your outer hips and begin to pick your torso up. So from here, if you joined me last time, we took a pigeon on blankets. So we'll expand that sequence a little bit today and take a double pigeon. I've also heard this referred to as a fire log pose or ankle to knee. So I'm going to take 2 blankets folded like so. You can also take 1 blanket. I do recommend having some height, but you can of course just take this on your mat. So we'll start in a down dog. Lift the right leg and send the right shin all the way forward to clear the blankets. The right knee really lands on its own side. And as I mentioned, today we're just going to pass through the shape, but do find good contact with the blankets and the hips, and then swivel your left leg all the way around and find the left ankle on the right knee. Totally fine if your left knee is floating. It happens to many of us. Move the flesh of your bum out of the way so that way you're really sitting on like the precipice or on the edge of the blanket. From here, just take a moment to acclimate. Lift the chest. Find the sitting bones making contact. And then you can have your blocks close if you want them. You could also just stay on your fingertops. I'm going to use a block on its middle height. So reach the left arm out to the left and take a side bend over to the left. Right arm sweeps up and over. And as you reach to the left, can you send more weight through the right sit bone? Expand through the whole right side of the rib cage. The chin fits the armpit, and you take your gaze up toward the ceiling. Come through the middle. Swap your block. And take the side bend the other way. Left arm sweeps up and over. Left hip is heavy. Keep the left foot flexed really well. And breathe into the whole left side of the rib cage. Come back through the middle and swivel your left leg all the way back where it came from. Hands down on the mat. Right foot to a 3-leg dog. Any movement that you'd like here. Dog pose is where we meet. And then send the left leg high. Left shin, left knee, left ankle, all clear the blankets. Take a moment to just situate. Have your blocks close by if you use them on the other side. And swivel the right leg all the way around. That's it. And then bring the right ankle to the left knee. So you've got an equilateral triangle here. Foot, knee, and pubic bone. And then move the flesh of your bum out of the way. Totally fine if the right knee is floating. Grab your blocks. Or fingertips, of course. And just for a moment, tip slightly more forward and tip slightly back. Find neutral. From here, left arm swims up and over. Left hip point is heavy. Left seat is heavy. Left side of rib cage is expansive. Maybe you find the ceiling with your right eyeball. Come back through the middle. Swap your block. Right arm swims up and over. Nice to send the block really far away from you so you don't squish the left side here. The right side is long, the right seat is heavy. Maybe you find the ceiling with your left eyeball. Come up through the middle. Swivel your right leg all the way around. Pass through a pigeon. Hands down on the mat. Left leg goes high and up. Any movements that you want. Back to a down dog. And just touch your knees down and move your props out of the way. Have your blocks handy and swivel around so that way your head is toward the front of the mat and your feet are now toward the back of the mat. We'll take a supported bridge pose. So to get there, stamp your feet down really well. The knees will be bent. And then just lower down onto your forearms. You can scoot your bum a little closer. Lower down onto your forearms one at a time and bring your back down onto the mat. So from here, the kneecaps land over the heels. You might be able to just brush your heels with the fingertips. This is a way to check that your heels aren't too far out or too far in. You can also take this shape without the props, up to you. And from here, press into your hands and your feet to lift your hips up. You could take one block on its lowest height. You could take one block on its middle height. I like to take 2 blocks on their lowest height, so maybe you'll join me there. And settle your blocks so they land at the widest part of the base of the spine, right on the sacrum. And if it feels kind of uncomfortable, a little bit of trial and error goes a long way here. So adjust the block so that way you have a good support for the base of your spine. If you've got a ponytail or something in the way, you can move that out of the way. And the hands can land anywhere they want, maybe back on the low ribs and belly, just like we started class. The eyes might close again on their own. And now that we've moved through and breathed through the past several minutes together, you might just observe any spaciousness that's been created, returning back to the seeds that you planted. Allowing the plants and flowers to blossom in the space that's created for them. And remember that any space that is there, we almost always certainly find a way to fill that space. Gently lift your hips up. One at a time, remove the blocks out from underneath you. Slowly, slowly, slowly lower the hips down onto the mat and take your feet as wide as the mat. The knees knock in for constructive rest, like a little teepee. You might windshield wiper the knees a bit left and right. You can draw the knees in toward your chest, rock a little bit left and right on the low back. Maybe take a happy baby. Hands hold onto the outer edges of the feet. The knees draw down toward the mat, but the feet press into the hands, so you have a counter opposition. You can take a couple of rocks here. And then when you're ready, just allow the arms and the legs to land in Shavasana. The whole body takes rest. We'll just be here together for a moment or so. The feet can splay out. The hands can splay out. You can take any exhalations through the mouth and just have a moment to really let everything go. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. If you're with me, breathe a little bit deeper. Stretch your arms overhead and reach fingers away from toes like you were just getting up in the morning. And gently bend your knees in, roll onto either side, and press yourself to a seat. You might allow the eyes to stay closed as we end class together. Hands at the center of the chest if it's meaningful to you. Bow your chin. Any space that is created, we will naturally unfurl and expand into. One Om to close. Breathe in. Om.